god, hi. Let me tell you a really fun story. So like 5 months ago, I animated Birds of a Feather. Birds of a Feather was basically like surrounded by the idea of Stranger Things, a little bit, kind of, not really, but anyway. But what I'm getting to is the main, like the chorus of Birds of a Feather had the Rainbow Room in it. So a week ago, I was thinking about like future video ideas and stuff like that, and I was like, oh, Stranger Things is gonna come out in like 3 weeks. I really like Stranger Things. I have a Rainbow Room model. If 2 plus 2 is 4. Right. So I was really excited about that. I was like, okay, I'm gonna just open that file and I'm gonna like edit it a little bit, put it on 3D Trader, put it on YouTube, whatever. So I go and I search for Birds of a Feather on my laptop, and guess what comes up? So I deleted the file. I deleted the file. I don't even know why. I don't even know why I did. Maybe I was running out of space or something, but I deleted it, and that I was really pissed off, and I contemplated not making this at all. But then I just made it because it took me like what, 2 days either way at the end of the day. So this is that video. You know what, at the end of the day, it was good that I didn't have it anymore, because I could have like, that other Rainbow Room was supposed to be accurate, and it was, but it was, at the end of the day, it was for Birds of a Feather. It was not for this. Modeling this was honestly pretty easy, probably because I've done it before. I tried to make it as accurate as possible, so I used like a bunch of reference images from the show itself, from the screenshots, from other models that people have made before, and specifically this video. This model would not be as accurate if it was not for this video. Shout out to this person. I think this is like a VR version or something like that, but I use that a lot to like get into like the little details, because it was either I used that or I rewatched the show, and that's not giving that. I did watch season 4 like a week ago, but not in that way, you know what I mean? I use those reference images. These are all of them. Hopefully they can fit in here, there are a lot. But I used all of those, and I just tried to make it as closely as possible. Let me actually show you what I'm talking about. So this is the room, and if any of you choose to buy this, this is exactly what you're gonna get from CG Trader. That's why it says, thank you for paying my rent at the end over there. Moving on. Maybe I should just show you the whole thing actually, because I don't even know what to say right now. So this is the outside. This outside part is just like the hallway part that all of like the bedrooms and stuff are in. I did this last. I started with the main part here, and then when I was done with all this, with all this stuff, I just moved on to this. These are the rooms, whatever. I'm not even sure, do I have to explain anything? Because I feel like, who the fuck hasn't seen Stranger Things at this point? This is the main room. These are like the angles. I'm just gonna give like a quick little preview moment. Anyway, yeah, that's the room. Moving on. The thing is, there's really nothing to break down here. I don't know what to say exactly, because it's like I just modeled the room and that's it. That is the room itself. So there had to be 2 of these rooms. One of them, well, this is the thing for CG Trader. If you're interested in buying this from CG Trader, this is it. I wanted to make another animation for running up that hill, so I had to make the upside down version of the Rainbow Room, which is what I'm about to show you right now. Right, so this is the same thing. There's a bunch of things that are like not seen because my laptop would absolutely crash. The first thing I did here was changing the materials for the tiles and like the walls over here. I painted mostly the corners with a texture paint so that I could have a second material, which would be just the moss. So that on the corners there's like moss, and then the rest is like the original material, which is just like the tiles and plaster. Then these things that you're seeing over here, there's just like the particles, you know, those little particles that float around in the upside down. These 3 things. And then I just removed all of the lighting. There was like a big area light over here. I removed that. Then all of these lights, since now Blender has like temperature on it, I put them to 1000K. What is K? I don't know. But I put it to 1000 because like that's like a really deep red. And then for the gate, I tried to follow there's a tutorial by Kev Binge, but when he said geometry nodes, I said, yep, I'm out. I said I'm leaving. Geometry nodes is not my field. I'm not touching that tab. That's a tab in Blender I do not open, even if it depended on my life. I don't care. I'm not opening this. Whoever came up with this, I wish you well, but it's not giving it. No. If y'all understand it, good luck to you. You're much smarter than me. So I tried to make it. I'm gonna put a screenshot of what it looked like. That's what it looked like. I tried to make it and it just was not working. It was too much. So I just painted these curves on instead, and this is a landscape from the add-on Ant landscape. So I just sculpted that a little bit to make it look like a crater situation. And then these curves, instead of using geometry nodes, I just painted them on. I just drew them on, because if you go on Bezier curves and then you go on the draw feature and you put it on, this is annotate, draw feature, and you put it on surface, you can just draw and the curve will appear. And then these grow out as the animation progresses. And yeah, These are the textures that I used for these vines. I mean, the texture here doesn't really matter because since everything is like covered in red light, it's so difficult to see either way that it's like, what's really the point? So I just used a bunch of colors that I felt like using. This is basically a noise texture for the color, for the roughness, for the normal as well. That's it. Then here for this like plasma bubble vein thing. I don't even know what this is. Membrane, that's the word, membrane. Just a Voronoi texture with like pink and red. Same thing for the bump, pretty much the same thing for the roughness. But the roughness is a noise texture, but no one cares about that. And then here, I did the same thing as Kev Binge did. This is like a regular ground material from Ambient CG, but I broke the alpha up into chunks with a noise texture so that it looks like this like floating surface, atoms, substance, you know? Yeah, and that is honestly pretty much it for the gate. To continue with that upside down look, I used some add-ons. The ones I used were G-Scatter and Bag of Pie for like all the vegetation. So this is a plane that has a transparent material, so the plane itself is not seen on the render, but the Bag of Pie, like the stuff that's on top of the plane, is seen. So on the ground I put sticks, leaves, clovers, and more clovers so that it can look overgrown, like the place has been there for a while, like abandoned, unkempt and whatever. And then I also put some stuff over here on the walls. I just put some more of this clover stuff on the walls, a bunch more, actually a lot more here on the walls, because these clovers kind of look like moss, so I just put them there. And then for the G-Scatter, I used the ivy looking thing from G-Scatter, just this ivy, more ivy, just ivy here on top of this thing, ivy around the walls that is also growing in, so they can kind of like grow in with the veins as well. Then shepherd's purse on the floor, just because I like how it looks, and I feel like this is the type of plant that you'd find in the upside down for some reason. I just feel like you'd find that, I don't know why, but anyway. And then, what is this? Crane's bill, whatever that is, over here around the rainbow. Again, just because I liked how it looks. So I used the G-Scatter, Bag of Pie, and Ivy Gen to generate all of the ivy that is like everywhere, all the vines, sorry, not ivy. All the vines that are found in the upside down, as we all know. So these are all the vines that are here. I used a bunch of decimate modifiers, but originally this could have been like more than 10 million vertices. I mean, more than 10 million polygons. Some of these grow. I am not going to attempt showing you that. I'm not, because that's a disaster right there. Some of these grow so that they can grow, and it also just looks nice on the camera. So this is the material. These are two materials mixed in one. The first one is just the same thing as the ivy from the gate. It's basically the same thing from the ivy on the gate, but better colors because they're gonna be seen a little bit more. This is just red, brown, violet, and yellow, and then with a noise texture. So that's material number one. Material number two is a Voronoi texture, basically the same thing as the inside of the gate, but on the vines, and then I mix those two with a noise texture and a color ramp. If I move these sliders, you can see one or the other better. So that's the pink one, the pink and red one, and this is only the gnarly flesh-like stuff. And then I'm not sure because I still haven't rendered this. Well, I'm rendering like the final preview of this, but I think I might have to render all of these vines separately with all the lighting separately, and then render this like the rest separately. So it's giving that, because last time I checked it was taking a really long time to render, and it wasn't even at the full resolution, nowhere close to the full resolution. And then pretty much the last thing that I added here was some volume around the scene, like everywhere. That isn't really seen, but anyway, there's 0.025 density volume, just to, because it's pretty. I don't even have an explanation at this point, yo. Yeah, but that's pretty much it. That's pretty much how I modeled and animated the Rainbow Room from Stranger Things. And I had a time. I don't know if it's good or bad, but I had a time. So, yeah. Oh my god, hi, let me tell you a fun story. I'm not doing this.